The universe is so huge. There must be other people in other planet. Harus ada manusia di planet lain. And the Bible says that. So we will be traveling to tell about the graciousness of God. We will be traveling to other planet. Kita akan pergi ke tempat lain untuk berbicara tentang kasih Tuhan yang kita sudah alami. The love of God that we all experience. Kepada saudara dan saya, to each one of us, God has given spiritual gift so that others will be benefited. Supaya orang lain dapat menerima kasih karunia Tuhan. Supaya orang lain dapat diselamatkan. Gunakanlah talenta yang Tuhan sudah berikan pada kita masing-masing. Agar supaya kita pada saat Yesus datang dikatakan apa? Hambaku yang baik dan setia, masuklah kemana? Ke dalam kebahagiaan. Oke, selamat sahabat. Sekali lagi kita memiliki satu judul. We have a series that we are going to discuss. We are about three parts. We are now in the second part with the title. Kita berada di bagian kedua dengan judul Be Ready, bersiaplah karena Dia akan datang. Be ready for His coming. Bersiap bagi kedatangan Yesus yang kedua kali. We study last Sabat, kita pelajari Sabat lalu that the disciple ask a question to Jesus, ya. Two question perhaps, ya. Lalu pada saat mereka duduk, lalu mereka datang. Tell us, when will these things be? Kapan kedatangan Yesus itu akan tiba? Kapan? And then that only, what will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age? Kapan engkau akan datang kembali? Dan apa kira-kira tanda? In the time of Bible, pada zaman Alkitab, people need to have a sign because they need certainty. Mereka minta ada kepastian. Kalau ada tanda berarti pasti. Okay? Kalau ada tanda-tanda itu berarti kepastian kedatangan tersebut. So, their concern was about what and when. Ya. Kapan dan apa. Tetapi kemudian kalau kita lihat, then we see that the whole Matthew 24 and Matthew 25 is not only about what and when, but the biggest portion, porsi yang terbesar pada saat Yesus berbicara tentang kedatangan yang kedua kali, the biggest portion is how to prepare. How to prepare for the second coming. Bagaimana kita, saudara dan saya, dapat bersiap bagi kedatangan Yesus yang kedua kali, ya. Watch therefore, dikatakan, ya. Karena itu berjaga-jagalah sebab kamu tidak tahu pada hari mana Tuhanmu datang. Kita sudah mulai dengan, we started with the first parable, ya. Parable of the what? 10 virgin, ya. So, the lessons, when we ready with the 10 virgin, go out. Keluar untuk bertemu dengan apa? Pengantin pria. Go out to meet the bridegroom. Bawa lampu Anda. Bawa firman Tuhan. But we need to have what? The oil for ourselves. We need to buy the oil for ourselves. Jadi kita memerlukan Roh Kudus yang harus menjadi pengalaman kita sendiri. Kita tidak boleh kita bilang, oh itu Roh Kudus itu biarlah untuk neta rantung aja, dia ngomong-ngomong, jadi dia aja lah ya. No, you cannot do that. We cannot have only the Holy Spirit for pastor or for a few people in the church, but each one of us, setiap kita harus mengalami kuasa Roh Kudus. And then after after Jesus talk about the parable of the 10 virgin, setelah dia memberikan perumpamaan tentang 10 anak darah, then the next is what? Perumpamaan tentang apa? What is the next parable? Hah? Ya? Talent, betul sekali ya. Setelah kita selesai dengan ayat ke-13 about the parable of the 10 virgins, then Matius 25 ayat 14, then Matthew 25 verse 14 to 30 is about parable of the talent. Parable of the talent. This is familiar, ya. But let us read. Mari kita baca, ya. I'll be reading in Indonesia, and perhaps some of you in English be reading in English, ya. Sebab hal kerajaan sorga sama seperti seorang yang mau berpergian ke luar negeri, yang memanggil hamba-hambanya dan mempercayakan hartanya kepada mereka. Delivered his goods. Oke, yang seorang diberikan 5 talenta, yang seorang 2, dan seorang lagi 1. Jadi 5, 2, 1, total berapa? 8, ya. 5, 2, 1, dan masing-masing menurut kesanggupannya, lalu ia berangkat. Oke, ingat, this is in the context of be ready, bersiap-siap, karena kedatangan Yesus sudah apa ya? sudah dekat, ya. Kedatangan Yesus sudah akan dekat, ya. Kapan the master will return? When will the master will return from his journey? We don't know. Okay, we don't know. Yeah. But what we know is that the master will enable his servant to survive. Walaupun dia tidak tahu kapan dia akan pulang, tapi kita tahu bahwa master Tuhan itu mempersiapkan segala sesuatu so that we can survive, supaya kita dapat apa? Tetap hidup, ya, tetap hidup pada saat dia pergi, ya. Tetap hidup. So, sebelum dia pergi, master ini katakan apa? Delivered his goods. Dia mempercayakan apa? Hartanya. Hands over. Dia berikan hands over to entrust. Apa yang dia percayakan? What did he entrusted? Talent. Ya, 521 talent, ya. Nah, seringkali kita cuma pikir 521, but this is not as simple as 521. Okay? Nggak simple seperti itu. Talent ini dalam bentuk apa? Apakah ini dalam bentuk talenta? No, it's specifically in this text, secara spesifik, ini bicara tentang apa? Uang. Kenapa? Talenta in the Bible actually bukan uang, ya. A talent weight was an ancient measuring unit. Itu adalah alat pengukur. Talenta itu adalah timbangan atau sesuatu yang ditimbang, dari kata talanton. Jadi satu talent itu kurang lebih 74 pound. One talent is about 75 pounds or 34 kilogram of silver. Ya, 34, satu talent. Dan satu talent itu harganya berapa kalau silver? One talent of silver is about 6,000 denarii. Keep it in mind. Maybe just look at this, ya. Lihat ini dulu. Satu talent sama dengan 6,000 denarii. Satu denarii, one denarii is one day worth of work. Gaji satu hari. Gaji satu hari itu satu denarii. Jadi, satu talent 6,000 hari. Ya. 6,000 hari itu berapa tahun? 6,000 hari itu kurang lebih 16 tahun, 16 years. So one talent worth 16 years of paycheck. 16 years. So the master left, he gave 5, 2, and 1. So 8. Okay? 5, 2, and 1. So 8 talents, he was given, he gave, dia memberikan kepada pelayannya itu 128 tahun punya nilai paycheck. 128 tahun paycheck. Nah, rata-rata di Amerika ini berapa per paycheck? Bukan per bulan paycheck, tapi per bulan gaji. Rata-rata ada orang yang sampai 200-an ribu per tahun, ya. Ada yang di bawah. Tapi rata-rata di Amerika ini kurang lebih 40.000 per tahun. Rata-rata 40.000. Jadi paychecknya setiap bulan itu kurang lebih 3.000 sekian, ya. 3.000 sekian. Rata-rata. Kalau dirata-ratakan. Jadi kalau $40.000 kali 128 tahun, dia jumlah yang dia tinggalkan itu adalah $5 juta. $5 juta, 5.120.000. Jadi kepada hamba yang pertama $3 juta. Hamba yang kedua, the second servant, is $1.2 million given. And for the last servant, $640,000. Okay? $640,000. So, just don't think only one talent. No, it is about the one talent, the worth about $640,000. Who was sane enough, a master, would give that much money? Around what? $5 million? The master was giving his livelihood. Itu adalah mungkin semua harta yang dimiliki oleh apa? Master. That's the whole worth of the master. Gave everything. In other words, the master gave everything to his servant. So what kind of character can we see here? Yeah? What kind of characters that we can see here? There are 3 characteristics of the master. 3 characteristics of Jesus. Before he left, he gave $5 million to 3 people. 3 people, $5 million. So, all humanity, billion of dollars, in other words, ya, if you want to monetize, kalau kita mau berikan harga apa yang Yesus berikan, ya. So, three characteristics of Jesus, that he was so gracious toward us. Dia sangat berkemurahan, dia sangat berkemurahan, ya. Siapa yang mau kasih, kalau Anda punya 5 juta dolar, mau kasih ke 3 orang 5 juta dolar, wow, boro-boro, kasih istri aja nggak mau, apalagi orang lain, ya. 5 juta dolar. $500 saja berat. Mau kasih orang lain, ya. Tawa ya. 5 juta dolar kepada pegawainya. But Jesus is so gracious. Sangat berkemurahan, ya. Dan kedua, in order to give $5 million, you must trust people very well. So Jesus really trust us. Dan yang ketiga, ya. In other words, he trusts us when Jesus look at you and I, pada saat Yesus melihat saudara dan saya, dia melihat dengan apa, ya? Mata iman, dia percaya. Ya? Dia percaya kepada, he believe in you. He believe in you. Many people think that you are a hopeless case, but Jesus said, no, you're not a hopeless case. I believe in you. I entrusted you $3 million. I entrusted to you $3 million. He rely on us. Yeah. The creator of the universe sees some value. Dia melihat nilai dari antara kita. But not only that, but he understand our unique abilities. Yeah, he understand. Some people get 5, some people get 5, some people get 3, some people get what? 1. Why? Is it, so pilih-pilih kasih dia? No. He knows our ability. Our ability only to handle 1. Our ability to handle 2 responsibilities or 2, some people cannot handle big, in other words. So he understood. He understand our unique ability. So these are the 3 characteristics of the master, yeah. Now, how do these 3 servants respond to the load of treasure? Bagaimana respons daripada ketiga hamba ini terhadap pemberian daripada sang master? How do these 3 servants respond to the load of treasures given to them? Now, mari kita baca. Segera, pergilah hamba yang menerima 5 talenta itu, ia menjalankan uang itu. I don't like so much the Indonesian version, ya, because lalu ia beroleh laba 5 talenta. Ini seperti dia jadi rentenir dia, ya. Makanya banyak di Indonesia itu tukang pinjam uang tuh, bahkan orang Advent. It's not about, nggak boleh loh di Alkitab itu, nggak boleh jadi rentenir loh. Hah? Tapi banyak orang, saya tahu ada anggota saya dulu, bukan di sini ya, di Indonesia, suka kasih pinjam uang. Tapi the point is, he traded with them. Dia menjalankan bisnis, usaha, dan made another 5 talents. Ya, dia beroleh laba, bahasa Indonesianya beroleh laba 5 talenta. Hamba yang menerima 2 talenta itu pun berbuat demikian juga dan berlaba 2 talenta. Ya. Tetapi hamba yang menerima 1 talenta itu pergi dan menggali lubang di dalam tanah lalu menyembunyikan uang apa? Uang tuannya. Lama sesudah itu, after a long time, please read in English. Lama sesudah itu pulanglah tuan hamba-hamba itu lalu mengadakan perhitungan dengan mereka. Hamba yang menerima 5 talenta itu datang dan ia membawa laba 5 talenta. Katanya, Tuan, 5 talenta Tuan percayakan kepada aku. Lihat, aku telah beroleh laba 5 apa? Talenta. Aku telah mengembangkan kepercayaan Tuanku. Maka kata tuannya itu kepadanya, baik sekali perbuatanmu itu. Hai hambaku yang apa? Baik dan apa? Baik dan setia. This is very important. Very important. Karena ini yang diulangi. The word good and faithful servant, they were repeated twice to the first and the second. And this is so significant. They were good and faithful. Okay? Good and faithful. And then what's the result? Ya? Baik sekali perbuatanmu itu, hai hambaku yang baik dan setia, engkau telah setia dalam perkara kecil, aku akan memberikan kepadamu tanggung jawab dalam perkara yang besar. Masuklah dan turutlah dalam apa? Kebahagiaan Tuhanmu. Okay? Good, faithful, and joy. Keep that in mind. Taruh dalam benak kita. Baik, setia, dan apa? Bahagia. Lalu datanglah hamba yang menerima 2 talenta itu. Katanya, Tuan, 2 talenta Tuhan percayakan kepadaku. Lihat, aku telah beroleh laba 2 talenta. Dia bukan rentenir, sekali lagi ya. Tapi I have gained. Okay? I've gained 2 talenta. Lalu kemudian apa yang tuannya katakan? And the master say the same thing. His Lord said to him, maka tuannya itu berkata kepada, baik sekali perbuatan itu, hai hambaku yang bagaimana? Sekali lagi, baik dan apa? Baik dan setia. Engkau telah setia memikul tanggung jawab dalam perkara yang kecil, aku akan memberikan kepadamu tanggung jawab dalam perkara yang besar. Masuklah dan turutlah dalam kebahagiaan apa? Dalam kebahagiaan Tuhanmu. The same words, good, faithful, joy, were repeated. Yeah? To the 2 different servants with 2 different amount entrusted to them. So one has 5, one has 2, but still both of them, good, faithful, enter into the joy. Good, faithful, enter into the joy. So you see that the amount is not the major concern here. Jumlahnya itu bukan apa? Bukan major concern, bukan masalah di sini. But what is the major concern? What is the main point? Not the amount, not the amount, but what? That you are productive. Okay? The major concern adalah bukan jumlahnya, tetapi produktivitasnya. 5 tambah 5, 2 ditambah jadi apa? 2 lagi. Yeah. The result of productivity. Yeah. So the master, ya tuannya tidak katakan, oke, yang senang-senang sekali, yang 5. No, the same. Why? Because they were productive. Kenapa bukan hanya 5, tapi dua-duanya sama? Karena sama-sama mereka itu apa ya? Produktif. Mereka masuk ke dalam kebahagiaan Tuhanmu. Ya. Masuk ke dalam. So there are 2 things here. Good and faithful. Good is related. Kebaikan itu ya. Kebaikan, good, is related to the character. Okay? The master praised them for 2 aspects. The first aspect is the character, that the person is good. He's a good person. Right? Karakter. Dia adalah orang yang baik. Karakternya. Honest in the heart, ya. Ya, dia did not run away with the money. They're good. Ya, kalau saya dapat $3 juta, waduh. Saya bukan katakan saya akan lari dari pendeta lalu tinggal di Indonesia atau apa ya. $3 juta, saudara, itu not bad itu ya. I can run away with that money if I'm given. But they don't run away. Mereka tidak lari dengan $3 juta. $3 juta berapa miliar itu ya? 45 miliar itu. Di Indonesia kalau punya 45 miliar itu sudah dudu manis itu ya. Kenapa dia tidak lari dengan uang tersebut? Why he did not run away with $3 million? Because of his character. Yeah. His character. Yeah. Not only he was good, the character is good, ya baik dia, tetapi berikutnya dikatakan apa? Apa poin kedua sehubungan dengan kedua orang ini? Faithful. What does faithful means? What does it relate to? Kesetiaan. How do you say? Is it kesetiaan itu karakter atau it connect to the relationship? Faithfulness connects to the relationship between the servant and the master. Jadi kesetiaan itu berhubungan dengan apa? Relationship, hubungan antara tuan dan apa? Kalau saya berbicara tentang dia suami yang setia, dia istri yang setia, what does that mean? He has a good relationship with the husband or with the wife, yeah. So faithfulness relate to the relationship, faithful to the master. In other words, the relationship between the servant, hubungan antara pelayan dan master, full of faith. Penuh dengan apa? Penuh dengan iman. Full of faith, full of confidence. Full of confidence that the master will come back. Penuh dengan keyakinan bahwa tuannya akan kembali. And because of that, the master can have faith fully on them. Ya. Kenapa sampai mereka memiliki hubungan yang erat dengan master? Kenapa mereka tidak lari? Karena tuannya itu percaya mereka. Dan kepercayaan itu dibalas oleh siapa? That faithfulness was paid back. So it's a two-way street of faith, in other words, ya. Two-way. So, jadi tetap setia dia. Walaupun tuannya tidak ada, tetap setia. Ya, walaupun istri atau suami cuti di Indonesia, yang di Amerika tetap setia, nggak macam-macam. Bisa begitu. Why? Because they have good relationship. Ada satu pepatah yang katakan apa ya? When the cat is away, the mice will play. Saat kucing pergi, tikus apa? Bermain. Waduh, begitu Kim atau Frank tidak ada, waduh, sudah pesta pora yang di tempat kerja. No, that was not the case. Saat kucing pergi, tikus tetap apa? Setia. Saya tidak katakan kita semua ini tikus, bukan. Tapi poinnya adalah, inilah kedua servant, the two servants. They were still faithful even when the supervisor is not there. Ya. Tidak ambil kesempatan untuk tidak berproduktif. But still productive even when the master was not there. So they were called good because character is good. Faithful because they have a faithful relationship with the master. Yeah. And this is the response to the master that have full of trust, full of faith with them. Full of faith with them. And they receive the graciousness of the master, the trust of the master. And the master said, you have been faithful over a few things, kamu telah setia dalam perkara yang kecil, I will make you ruler of many things. Aku akan apa? Memberikan kepadamu tanggung jawab dalam perkara yang lebih besar. When the master return. Biasanya kalau masternya pulang, supposedly what? They have a vacation, yeah. Because they have been working hard, isn't it? Sudah kerja keras. When the master come, they're supposed to get vacation. But they don't get vacation. Tidak ada liburan mereka. Masternya pulang, bekerja lebih apa? Lebih besar diberikan. Ya. More work to do. Kalau saya mungkin komplain, aduh, baru kasih besar ini apa penghasilan dilipat gandakan. Kok masih mau tanggung jawab yang lebih besar? No, they don't complain. They don't complain. Why don't they complain? Kenapa mereka enggak komplain kepada master? Diberikan tanggung jawab lebih besar setelah kerja keras. Why not? Because their character and their what? Relationship. Because of the character and relationship. Yeah. If you love your spouse, for example, ya. Kalau Anda mencintai suami atau istri Anda, biar istri Anda itu kerjanya misalnya di Washington DC, you are more than willing to go back and forth every day to get them from Washington DC. Kalau cuma Philadelphia itu kacang-kacang ya, tapi Washington DC, why? Because of relationship, because of the character, yeah, because of relationship. And what is the result of that relationship? Enter into the joy of what? Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your master. Masuklah dan turutlah dalam kebahagiaan Tuhan. Pada saat Yesus datang kembali, when Jesus returned for the second time, we enter what? Kita akan masuk ke mana? We enter heaven. Okay? And Jesus said, when you enter heaven, you will have more responsibility, bigger responsibility. What kind of responsibility we will have when we are in heaven? Ya. Apa tugas kita pada saat Yesus datang kali kedua? Kita masuk surga. What can you think of? We will be judging. We will be judges, right? Selama 1000 tahun kita akan menjadi dalam dunia ini kita diinjak-injak. Here on earth we were being crucified or sengsara gitu. Tapi when we enter heaven, we will be judges. Yeah. Wahyu Pasal 20 berbicara tentang hal itu. What else? Pena inspirasi kita melihat bagaimana kita akan mengunjungi apa? Dunia-dunia lain. We will be ambassadors. The new earth, dunia baru itulah tempat pusat daripada takhta Allah. Surga akan turun di mana? Di bumi yang diperbaharui ini. Yeah. And we will be ambassadors to other universe, to other planets with people in them. Ya. Alkitab berbicara tentang adanya apa ya? Penduduk di bumi lain. Saintis saja mengetahui, the scientists in the world today say, if only this earth full with people, what a waste. The universe is so huge. There must be other people in other planet. Harus ada manusia di planet lain. And the Bible says that. So we will be traveling to tell about the graciousness of God. We will be traveling to other planet. Kita akan pergi ke tempat lain untuk berbicara tentang kasih Tuhan yang kita sudah alami. The love of God that we all experience. So that is the biggest work that we need to do. Here on earth, we only go to perhaps to Indonesia to evangelize or to your neighbor to evangelize. But when we enter heaven, we evangelize, not that they need to be they need to be baptized, ya, tidak. But we need to testify more about Jesus in other planet. Yeah. So that's it. So when Jesus talked about this to the disciples, because the disciple asked, right, what and when? And Jesus said, how? Jesus said, you will face troubles, you will face problems in this world. But remember, kamu walaupun kamu ada masalah, kamu akan hadapi beban dan dianiaya. Remember, you will enter into the joy of your master. Yeah, you will enter the joy of your master. There will always be joy. So, Jesus was saying, when you wait for my second coming, pada saat kamu menantikan kedatangan yang kedua kali, focus on the joy. Focus on joy. Yeah. Focus on the real joy that you will have. And this is what happened to Jesus, ya. Yesus mati di kayu salib, ya. Yesus disalib dan sakit sekali itu. It was so painful for Jesus to be crucified on the cross. But what happened with Jesus when he was crucified? Apa yang terjadi dengan dia? Ibrani 12 ayat 2 katakan apa? Marilah kita melakukannya dengan mata yang tertuju pada Yesus. When you are facing challenges in this world, focus on Jesus, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who, for the joy that was set before him, endured the cross, despising the shame, and has now sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. So when Jesus was crucified, pada saat Yesus disalibkan, it was painful, but he was filled with joy. Why? Because he knew that people will be saved. Jadi dia dengan mengabaikan kehinaan, mengabaikan kesakitan, tekun memikul salib, ganti sukacita because of the joy set before him. So bagaimana kita menunggu kedatangan Yesus kedua kali? How do we wait for the second coming? Focus on the joy to enter the kingdom. And that is why the first servant and the second servant has the strength to continue to work and work for the master, and doubled the result. What happened with the third servant? Apa yang terjadi dengan hamba yang ketiga? Then, datanglah ayat 24-25. Datanglah juga hamba yang menerima 1 talenta itu dan berkata, Tuhan, aku tahu. Oh, this is so important, the word aku tahu. Tuhan, aku tahu bahwa Tuhan adalah manusia yang kejam, yang menuai di tempat di mana Tuhan tidak menabur, dan yang memungut dari tempat di mana Tuhan tidak menanam. Karena itu aku takut dan pergi menyembunyikan talenta Tuhan itu dalam tanah. Ini, terimalah kepunyaan Tuhan. Please read in English, ya. Lord, I knew you, hard man. You are hard man. I was afraid, and I hid your talent. Maka jawab tuannya itu, ayat ke-26-27. Maka, but his Lord answered and said to him, you wicked and lazy servant. The first and the second, good and what? Faithful. But this one, wicked and lazy servant. Hamba yang jahat dan malas. Jadi kamu sudah tahu bahwa aku menuai di tempat di mana aku tidak menabur dan memungut dari tempat di mana aku tidak menanam. Karena itu sudahlah seharusnya uangku itu kau berikan kepada orang yang menjalankan uang, supaya sekembaliku aku menerimanya serta dengan bunganya. So take the talent. So take the talent from him. Sebab itu ambillah talenta itu daripadanya dan berikanlah kepada orang yang mempunyai 10 talenta itu. Karena setiap orang yang mempunyai kepadanya akan diberi sehingga ia berkelimpahan, tetapi siapa yang tidak mempunyai, apapun juga yang ada padanya akan diambil daripadanya. And in verse 30, setelah dia dibilang apa tadi? Wicked, lazy, and now in verse 30, and cast this unprofitable servant into the outer darkness. Campakkanlah hamba yang tidak berguna ini dalam kegelapan yang paling gelap. Di sanalah akan terdapat ratap dan kertak gigi. The first and the second servant, where did they go? Where will they go? Heaven. Where will the third go? Eternal death. Yeah. Eternal death. So what is the difference between the first, the second, and the third? Apa beda antara hamba yang pertama dan kedua? Dan yang dengan yang ketiga, karakternya yang pertama kedua itu apa? Baik, good. Relationship with the master, faithful, setia. Relationship setia. And what about the third servant? Bagaimana dengan hamba yang ketiga? Karakternya apa? Wicked, jahat. Yeah. Wicked or jahat. The word wicked atau jahat. Ya, the word wicked dalam bahasa aslinya itu menyatakan merugikan orang lain. Orang yang jahat, wicked itu apa ya? Merugikan orang lain. When you don't do the work of God, Anda merugikan orang lain. Wow. Merugikan orang lain. And what about the relationship with the master? Dia lazy. Malas. Now, my question is, what's wrong with the servant number 3? He did not run away with $640,000. He did not run away with the money. What's wrong with it? And even, in fact, it was a common practice. Praktis yang oke di zaman Yesus, kalau uang harta itu tidak apa? Tidak ada bank zaman dulu. There was no bank. So the people would dig a hole and keep the money inside under the ground, as long as you remember where it was. Yeah. So nothing wrong with that, seemingly. Yeah. But why was he condemned by the master? Kenapa dia di-condemn? Apa masalahnya? Dia tidak curi kan? Dia tidak curi itu uang. He did not run away with the money. What's wrong with him? Huh? What's wrong with him? The problem with him that he missed his priority. Prioritasnya yang salah. He missed his priority. What is his priority? His priority, unlike the other two priority-nya ada productivity. Produktif. Productivity is focus. Produktif. Dari 5 jadi 10. 2 jadi berapa? Jadi 4. Produktif. But this one is not productivity, but security. Kenapa Anda simpan uang di bank? For security, right? Yeah. But you don't, if you want to, they say, if you want to, you don't get rich. You don't double your money just by putting in the bank. How much you get like the interest? Berapa interest di bank? Kecil sekali, 0,01. You need to make investment, they say, right? The investment supaya uangnya double. But this person is not thinking about productivity, but apa? Security. I don't want to invest. If I invest, if I lose my investment, KO saya. Gone. My money will be gone. But security, hid. His priority is not productivity, but security. Tenang-tenang saja. Udahlah, kita aja lah. Aduh, mau orang lain masuk ke gereja, nanti kacau gereja kita. Udah kita aja lah. Torang-torang, katong-katong jo, ya. Ya, so, but the thing is, his focus in security make him wicked. Why? Because if we think only for ourselves, and we don't want to rock the boat, we don't want to rock the boat, then we don't dare to invest. Kita tidak berani berinvestasi. Other people that should be in the kingdom of God will be lost. Ya. Saat kita tidak produktif, maka orang yang seharusnya selamat jadi tidak apa? Tidak selamat. Jadi tidak selamat. And the Bible says that he's not only called wicked, but also unprofitable because he was not productive. Dia tidak produktif. Ya. Dia tidak produktif. Ya. Pada saat dia dibilang malas, it's not only the way dia malas-malasan but the attitude, sikap terhadap tuannya, ya. Sikap tuannya. Dia malas dalam arti buat apa produktif dengan Tuhan saya? Cari aman saja. Have you heard about the new term that was introduced in 2022? Satu term yang baru diperkenalkan di tahun 2022 di Amerika Serikat ini namanya quiet quitting. Berhenti dengan apa? Diam-diam. Kalau berhenti yang ribut, Anda give your resignation letter to your boss. I resign, I go out. That is noise quitting, ya. But quiet quitting, you still work, but you do minimal work in the workplace. Anda tetap bekerja, but you do only what? Melakukan persyaratan minimum dalam pekerjaan, ya. Tidak ada lagi mau buat yang terbaik di tempat perusahaan. Oh, minimum saja. Tidak ada antusiasme. You don't have enthusiasm anymore. Just do what you need to do. And that's it. And 50% workers in Amerika, setengah dari pegawai di Amerika itu sekarang sedang melakukan apa yang disebut dengan istilah quiet quitting. Kerja tidak, kerjanya juga tidak, berhenti juga tidak. Minimal work. Jangan rajin-rajin. Jangan rajin-rajin. Ya. People quiet quitting means they're disengaged. Mereka apa? Disengaged. Actively disengaged. Mereka tidak mau pusing tentang mau perusahaannya mau maju, mau tidak maju. Masa bodoh mereka dengan apa? Produktivitas. I just do my work and that's it. I don't want to add. I don't want to tambah. Actively disengage. Tidak ada komitmen. There is no commitment to the company. There is no commitment to the company. As long as you can get your paycheck, that's it. Yeah. That's it. And so, why people do this quiet quitting? And this is the problem with the third servant. Quiet quitting. Okay? Dia simpan kan? Dia simpan. Secure aja udah. Nggak mau tambah-tambah, nggak usah bikin tambah. Yang penting satu itu nggak hilang. Yang penting satunya nggak hilang kan? Quiet quitting. Ya. Kenapa? Kenapa sampai dia tidak memiliki karakter yang bagus? Kenapa dia tidak memiliki karakter yang baik? Kenapa dia tidak memiliki relationship yang baik dengan masternya? Kenapa? The answer is in verse 24. Kita sudah baca tadi ya. The answer is in verse 24. Di ayat ke-24 dari apa yang terjadi ya. Yaitu apa? Dan kini datanglah juga hamba yang menerima 1 talenta itu dan berkata, Tuan, aku, apa dikatakan? Aku tahu. Aku tahu engkau adalah orang yang apa? Manusia yang kejam. I knew you. Ya. I knew you. Lord, I knew you. 4 kata yang pertama yang dia ucapkan adalah Lord, I knew you. Bandingkan dengan 5 anak darah yang bodoh, ya. Pada saat mereka datang ke tempat pesta, apa yang dikatakan kepada mereka oleh mempelai pria? I do not know you. Aku tidak mengenal kalian. Apa the difference? The difference, the 5 foolish do not know, but this unfaithful servant, lazy, wicked servant, he knew the master, but his understanding of the master is crooked, skewed, miring, salah. Ya. Kenapa? For him, the Lord is hard and demanding. Tuhan, itu keras sekali Tuhan kita. Tuhan itu tidak kasih adanya. Tuhan menuntut banyak dari kita. Ya. Kenapa? Itu kan udah pendeta aja yang bikin, kenapa juga masih dituntut dari kita? 10%, aduh. Mau bangun tingkat 2, aduh. So, his understanding is that, yeah, that the master is so strict, demanding, keras. Ya. Lebih dari Frank atau siapalah. Itu pandangan yang salah tentang the master. But the truth is, yeah, he doesn't really know the master. Dia tidak tahu. Dia tidak tahu, ya. He thought that the master is, the master is only taking away from him and so on and so forth, but he calculate only the thing from himself. Saya kasih ini kepada Tuhan, saya kasih ini, saya bikin ini, saya kasih. Aduh, pusing kalau bikin gitu terus. Yeah. But the point is, remember, the master gave him what? More than $500,000. $640,000 given to him. Yeah. He doesn't really know the master. And the reason why, his understanding bring false feeling and resulted in the wicked actions. Okay? Kita lihat. Hamba yang ketiga ini, dia memiliki pandangan yang salah. Wrong thoughts about the master. And then that thoughts resulted in his feeling. And that feeling makes him do the thing that he did. Okay? Make the thing that he did. What was his thinking about the master? Oh, Lord, I know you to be a hard man. Kalau kita memandang Tuhan kita dengan pandangan yang salah tentang Allah kita, Allah yang cuma mau minta, hard man, what will happen? Allah yang keras. What will happen when we think wrongly? Our feeling will be influenced wrongly. Perasaan kita juga jadi salah. Pada saat dia pikir Tuhannya itu adalah orang yang keras, apa yang terjadi dengan perasaannya? I was afraid. Okay? I was afraid. Bahasa Indonesianya katakan, Tuhannya dianggap manusia yang kejam dan menyebabkan aku takut. My feeling. And as a result of the wrong thinking, wrong feeling, dia apa? Menyembunyikan talentanya. Ya. Actionnya jadi salah. Ya. Seringkali pikiran gitu ya. We think of something. Our thinking will, senang atau tidak senang. Okay? Senang atau tidak senang. And then from that feeling, we go to what? Action. Kita pergi kepada tindakan. Jadi hati-hati dengan pikiran-pikiran yang salah. Pikiran-pikiran yang negatif akan membawa perasaan negatif dan akan membawakan apa? Tindakan yang apa? Tindakan jadi negatif. Yeah. So, when God says, how do you prepare for His second coming? When Jesus said, be prepared for my second coming. Do we have the right thinking about Jesus? Do we have the right thinking? Do we have a feeling of love toward Him? Apakah kita memiliki perasaan cinta kepada Tuhan kita? Kalau kita memiliki pandangan bahwa Allah kita adalah Allah yang baik, perasaan kita perasaan cinta kepada Yesus, maka tindakan-tindakan kita adalah tindakan cinta. Our action will be the actions of love. Okay? Action of love. But the point is, when Jesus left, pada saat Yesus naik ke surga, when Jesus left and went to heaven, dia memberikan apa? Bahasa Indonesia, hartanya kepada kita. He delivered His good to them. What is the goods? Apa itu harta? Apa yang kita sudah lihat kalau dalam perumpamaan ini hampir 3,5 juta kepada satu hamba, 1 juta sekian kepada hamba yang kedua, 640,000 kepada hamba yang ketiga. What is the goods? Apakah the gift harta yang Tuhan Yesus berikan kepada kita? Yang harus kita lipat gandakan, yang harus kita buat produktif dalam kehidupan kita. What is the gift? Ada yang boleh? Ada kira-kira? Apa itu the gift that God leave behind for us? Keselamatan? Oke. Karunia keselamatan yang harus dilipat gandakan? Oke. Apa lagi? What we have? Apa lagi? Oke, bagus. Betul-betul, Pak. But let's see what the Bible say about the goods that God or Jesus left to us before He leave. Sebelum dia naik ke surga. Apa itu? Mari kita baca Efesus 4. Efesus 4 ayat 7 dan 8. Tetapi kepada kita masing-masing, but to each one of us, grace was given. Okay? Grace was given according to the measure of Christ give. Rahmatnya menyebabkan dia memberikan kepada kita apa? Gift, ya. Kepada kita masing-masing telah dianugerahkan kasih karunia menurut ukuran pemberian Kristus. Itulah sebabnya kata Nas, tak kala ia naik ke tempat tinggi, when the master leave, ia membawa tawanan-tawanan. Tapi pada saat ia membawa tawanan, dia katakan apa? Ia memberikan apa? He gave gift to man. Ia memberikan pemberian-pemberian kepada manusia. Apa itu pemberiannya? Ini kita sudah baca sampai ayat 8. Ayat berikutnya berbicara tentang karunia-karunia rohani yang Roh Kudus berikan kepada kita. Ayat 11. And he himself gave. Dan ialah yang memberikan baik pada rasul-rasul, nabi-nabi, baik pemberita-pemberita Injil maupun gembala-gembala dan pengajar-pengajar. And all the list of spiritual gift. Itulah yang Tuhan berikan, ya. Anda bisa baca di Roma 12, 1 Korintus 12, Efesus 4, 1 Petrus 4. Kebaikan, keramah-tamahan yang Anda tunjukkan pada orang lain. Ya, doa yang dapat Anda mendoakan orang lain. Tidak harus semua orang menjadi pembicara. Not everybody should be preacher or apostle. No. Help is one of the gift. You help other people. Kita membantu orang lain. These are the gift. Ya. Dan Yesus katakan, segala kuasa di bumi telah diberikan kepadaku supaya kita membawakan Injil dengan cara apa? Pada saat kita membawakan Injil, bukan hanya kita pergi begitu saja, tapi ada pemberian lainnya yang diberikan, like prophecy, service, teaching, and so on and so on and so forth. Serving. Kepada saudara dan saya, to each one of us, God has given spiritual gift. So that others will be benefited. Supaya orang lain dapat menerima kasih karunia Tuhan. Supaya orang lain dapat diselamatkan. So somebody else, supaya everybody can be saved because you have been saved. You don't preach, that's okay. But you have the gift of hospitality. You have the gift of help. You have the gift of administration. You have so many gifts, service, teaching, and so on and so forth. Mengajar. Yeah. Double it. Be productive. Be productive. Jangan hanya sekali-sekali mengajar, kok sebenarnya hilang lagi. Terus menerus. Ya. Terus menerus. Ya. Kenapa? Karena ingat, karakter ya. Good character. Apa artinya karakter? Something that we what? Keep doing and doing and doing. Become a habit. Habit become what? Character. Doing good. Honestly, at first, to preach every night or to speak every night, it was hard, difficult. What is the topic that I supposed to add? Apa yang saya harus tambah di pembahasan sekolah sahabat setiap malam? It was not easy, saudara ya. But it become what? Habit ya, sudah hampir 3 tahun ini, malam after malam. Learn everything, okay, and the Holy Spirit of course works. So it become okay. Jangan cuma mulai mandek dan lain-lain. Keep going, continue. I'm not saying about Elder Angli or other people. Yeah. I'm not saying to them only, but all of us. Yeah. When we are entrusted with something, pada saat kita dapat memuji Tuhan dengan menyanyi, don't say, no, keep serving. Be productive. Keep doing it. I'm not saying to Ethan only, but everybody else. Yeah. Keep doing it. Believe me. Because God knows, Tuhan tahu, when we do something for others, that is the joy that you can get, isn't it? Pada saat Anda membantu orang lain, pada saat Anda membawa pekabaran, I can imagine the young people, when you give food, even to when you distribute the water or snacks outside, I can see from the video, I was not there when you do that, but I can see the joy of the young people. It was even dangerous because the car might hit you and so on. But when you do something for others, it adds meaning to your life. When you pray with the people that, you knock at their door, like during GYC, you see, how do you feel? How do you feel? Use it, multiply. There was a time Mrs. White met with his brother-in-law by the name Hazen L. Foss. Do you know him? How many of you have heard this name? You don't know? Hazen Little Foss. You know him? He's supposed to be the one to give to be the leader of the Seventh-day Adventist Church at the beginning, not Ellen White. Why? Because he was the one given the first visions of what happened after the great disappointment. He's supposed to be the one, but he said, no, I don't want, Lord, I don't want to speak for you. And the vision was given to Ellen White. And there was a time after one meeting, he came to Ellen White and said, Ellen, I want to speak with you. Oh, really? What is that, my brother? Because Hazen L. Foss married to Ellen White's sister, Mary, brother-in-law. Yeah. And he said, the Lord gave me the message. The message that you delivered tonight was given to me, but I declined. In my pride, I say, I don't want to be responsible. I don't want to do anything, because after the great disappointment, I don't want. You know? Just like some of us, perhaps we say, "Oh, I don't want to know about spiritual gift. I don't want to be working." Something like that happened to Hazen L. Voss. But after that meeting, he said to Ellen White, "Do not deny the voice of God. I have denied it, and I'm a dead man." And true, he was never become a believer. Tidak pernah dia menjadi orang benar. He's supposed to be the leader of the Seventh-day Adventist Church at the beginning, the pioneer. But because he denied, he don't want, then nobody know about Hazen L. Foss. Only people know someone who's supposed to be the person. Hanya supaya orang ingat tentang dia apa? Orang yang menolak untuk digunakan Tuhan. I pray bahwa prioritas kita bukan untuk security, but productivity. Gunakanlah talenta yang Tuhan sudah berikan pada kita masing-masing, agar supaya kita pada saat Yesus datang dikatakan apa? Hambaku yang baik dan setia, masuklah kemana? Ke dalam kebahagiaan Tuhanmu. Saya bawa ini dalam nama Yesus.